This is the ultimate burger showdown. West Coast versus East Coast. In-N-Out versus Shake Shack. Animal Style versus ShackSauce. But this isn't just about food. Burgers are identity, they're culture. They're the hill people will fight over in internet comment sections. By the end, you'll know which coast really wins and why it matters. Let's start with the West Coast heavyweight champion, the burger that Californians treat like a religious experience. In-N-Out isn't just a burger chain, it's a lifestyle. It's an identity. It's what Californians use to prove they're better than everyone else. The cult following is real. People plan road trips around In-N-Out locations. They get the logo tattooed on their bodies. They literally cry when they move to states without In-N-Out. But let's talk about what's actually happening here. The secret menu hype is brilliant marketing disguised as insider knowledge. Animal style, protein style, 4x4. These aren't secrets. They're just menu items they don't print on the board. But calling it a secret menu makes customers feel like they're part of some exclusive club. And it works. People love feeling like they know something others don't. Ordering animal style becomes a badge of honor, proof that you're a real In-N-Out insider. Now, the freshness myth. In-N-Out loves to talk about their fresh, never-frozen beef and hand-cut fries. And yes, their beef is fresh. But here's what they don't tell you. Fresh doesn't automatically mean better. The fries are the perfect example. Hand-cut sounds premium, but In-N-Out fries are consistently ranked among the worst in fast food. They're limp, flavorless, and have the texture of cardboard that's been left in the rain. A former In-N-Out employee from Los Angeles shared this. The fries were always the biggest complaint. People would order them well done just to get some crispiness, but even then, they were just harder cardboard. But here's why In-N-Out works. Simplicity. The menu is small, focused, and they execute their vision consistently. The burgers are solid, not revolutionary but reliable. The ingredients are quality. The prices are reasonable. The real genius is the branding. In-N-Out has convinced an entire state that eating their burgers makes you part of California culture. It's not just lunch, it's a statement about who you are. Now, let's head to the East Coast, where they took the burger game and decided to make it fancy. Shake Shack is what happens when someone looks at McDonald's and says, "What if we made this bougie?" The gourmet, fast casual promise is real. These aren't just burgers, they're craft burgers made with premium ingredients and served on artisanal potato buns. The prices reflect this positioning. You're paying sit-down restaurant prices for fast food service. But here's the thing, it actually works. The Shack burger is legitimately good. The beef is high quality. The potato buns are soft and buttery. And that Shack sauce? It's basically fancy Thousand Island dressing. But it's really good fancy Thousand Island dressing. The New York expansion story is fascinating. Shake Shack started as a hot dog cart in Madison Square Park, became a permanent kiosk, then exploded into a global chain. But they maintained that New York energy, long lines, urban locations, and the feeling that you're eating something special. The cult fan base is different from In-N-Out's. Where In-N-Out fans are loyal Californians, Shake Shack fans are urban food enthusiasts who appreciate the better burger concept. They're willing to pay more for quality, and they see Shake Shack as the sophisticated choice. A food blogger who reviewed both chains wrote, "In-N-Out is about tradition and simplicity. Shake Shack is about evolution and refinement. They're solving different problems." The menu is more diverse too. Concrete custard, chicken sandwiches, seasonal specials. Shake Shack feels like a restaurant that happens to be fast, not fast food trying to be fancy. But the prices are a real barrier. A meal at Shake Shack can easily cost $15 to $20, which puts it in direct competition with casual dining restaurants. You're paying premium prices for the convenience of fast service. Speaking of premium prices, let's talk about the East Coast chain that gives you the most food for your money, whether you want it or not. Five Guys is the friend who doesn't know when to stop. More fries, more toppings, more grease, more everything. It's American excess in burger form. The customization is insane. 15 free toppings, multiple cooking styles, and enough combinations to make your head spin. You can build a burger that's basically a salad with meat, or you can create a grease bomb that requires a nap afterward. But let's address the elephant in the room, the prices. Five Guys is expensive. Like, did I accidentally order from a steakhouse? Expensive. A basic burger, fries, and drink can easily cost $20 for fast food. The value debate is real. Supporters argue that you get what you pay for: fresh ingredients, generous portions, and unlimited customization. Critics say you're paying restaurant prices for food served in a paper bag. The fries are legendary, but for all the wrong reasons. They give you so many fries that it becomes a problem. You order a small and get enough fries to feed a family. It's wasteful, overwhelming, and honestly kind of stressful. A Five Guys manager from Boston shared this. People would complain about getting too many fries. We'd explain that it's our thing, but some customers genuinely got upset about the waste. It's a weird problem to have. The love/hate relationship is real. People either worship Five Guys for their indulgent approach or resent them for being overpriced and overwhelming. There's no middle ground. But here's what Five Guys gets right. They know exactly what they are. They're not trying to be healthy, trendy, or sophisticated. They're greasy, messy American burgers, and they own it completely. Now let's head back to the West Coast, where they've mastered the art of late-night regret food. Carl's Jr. and Jack in the Box represent the weird, experimental side of West Coast burger culture. These are the chains that ask, what if we put a fried chicken breast on a burger? And then actually do it. The late-night culture is real. These places thrive after midnight, serving food to people whose judgment is compromised. The 24-hour drive-thrus become gathering places for shift workers, college students, and anyone making questionable life choices. Carl's Jr. built their brand on controversy. Remember the commercials with models eating burgers in slow motion? The $6 burger campaign? They positioned themselves as the rebellious, slightly inappropriate burger chain. But the execution has always been inconsistent. Carl's Jr. burgers can range from surprisingly good to aggressively terrible, sometimes in the same location on the same day. Jack in the Box is even weirder. Tacos at a burger place, egg rolls, curly fries. Their menu reads like someone threw darts at a board of random food items and decided to serve whatever they hit. The marketing fails are legendary. Remember when Jack in the Box tried to make their mascot edgy? Or Carl's Jr.'s "if it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face" campaign. These chains have a talent for creating memorable ads that make you question their judgment. But here's the thing, people actually eat there. Not because the food is great, but because it's available, cheap, and satisfies a very specific craving for processed comfort food. A former Carl's Jr. employee from San Diego said, "Most of our customers fell into two categories: people who were really high or people who worked night shifts and needed something open. We weren't anyone's first choice, but we were often their only choice." Speaking of questionable choices, let's talk about the East Coast chain that's built an entire empire on tiny burgers and nostalgia. White Castle is America's oldest burger chain, and sometimes it shows. These tiny sliders have been causing digestive adventures since 1921, and they're not stopping anytime soon. The slider legacy is real. White Castle invented the fast food burger, the assembly line kitchen, and the concept of cheap, quick meals. They're basically the grandfather of every burger chain that came after. But let's be honest about what White Castle actually is: drunk food, late night food. I've made some poor choices, and now I need tiny burgers food. The Crave Case isn't called that because the burgers are irresistibly delicious. It's called that because at 2 a.m., After a night of questionable decisions, you crave the specific combination of grease, onions, and regret that only White Castle can provide. The food safety controversies have been real. White Castle has dealt with multiple health department issues, food poisoning outbreaks, and general cleanliness concerns. But somehow, the cult fanbase remains loyal. A White Castle regular from New Jersey explained it perfectly. You don't go to White Castle because it's good. You go because it's White Castle. It's like visiting an old friend who's kind of a mess, but you love them anyway. The burgers themselves are unique. Thin patties, steamed buns, and enough onions to clear a room. They're not trying to compete with gourmet burgers or even regular fast food. They're in their own category entirely. Now, before we crown a winner in this coast-to-coast burger battle, let's talk about the underdogs, the regional chains that might just be doing it better than everyone else. If you're enjoying this burger war, hit that like button and subscribe, because the biggest showdowns are still coming, and you won't want to miss who takes the crown. While everyone argues about In-N-Out, there are smaller West Coast chains quietly doing exceptional work. The Habit Burger Grill started in Santa Barbara and built a reputation on char burgers, actual flame-grilled burgers with real char flavor. No gimmicks, no secret menus, just properly cooked burgers with quality ingredients. The char burger is what In-N-Out wishes it could be. Better beef, better cooking method, better fries, and a more diverse menu. But The Habit doesn't have the marketing machine or cultural cachet of In-N-Out. Farmer Boys takes a different approach: farm-fresh ingredients, larger portions, and a focus on breakfast and comfort food. Their burgers are massive, their ingredients are locally sourced when possible, and their execution is consistently solid. These chains matter because they prove that West Coast burger culture isn't just about In-N-Out. There's innovation, quality, and regional pride happening at smaller scales. A food critic who reviewed California burger chains wrote, "The Habit and Farmer Boys are what In-N-Out could be if it focused on food quality instead of brand mythology." Now comes the moment of truth. Let's put these chains head to head and see who really wins. In-N-Out versus Shake Shack. Simplicity versus gourmet. This is the classic matchup: West Coast simplicity versus East Coast sophistication. In-N-Out wins on value, consistency, and cultural impact. Their burgers are solid, their prices are reasonable, and they've created a genuine cultural phenomenon. Shake Shack wins on food quality, menu diversity, and overall dining experience. Their burgers are objectively better. Their ingredients are higher quality, and their brand feels more premium. The winner depends on what you value: tradition and value, or quality and innovation. Five Guys versus Carl's Jr., messy indulgence versus corporate chaos. Five Guys delivers on their promise of customizable, indulgent burgers. The quality is consistent, the portions are generous, and you know exactly what you're getting. Carl's Jr. is cheaper and more accessible, but the quality is inconsistent, and the brand identity is confused. Five Guys wins this matchup, but only if you can afford it. White Castle versus The Habit, nostalgia versus regional excellence. White Castle has history, cultural significance, and a unique product that can't be replicated. The Habit has better food, better ingredients, and better execution in every measurable way. This comes down to what you're looking for: a cultural experience or a good burger. But this isn't just about food. It's about culture, identity, and what these burgers represent. West Coast burger culture is laid back, Instagram-friendly, and tied to the road trip experience. In-N-Out represents California optimism: simple, fresh, and accessible. It's the burger equivalent of a perfect beach day. East Coast burger culture is urban, indulgent, and tied to the hustle mentality. Shake Shack represents New York sophistication: premium, refined, and worth waiting in line for. Five Guys represents East Coast excess: more is more, and if you can't handle it, That's your problem. These aren't just different approaches to making burgers. They're different philosophies about food, life, and what constitutes value. West Coast says, keep it simple, keep it fresh, keep it real. East Coast says, make it better, make it premium, make it worth the price. Both approaches work because they serve different needs and different lifestyles. So after all this analysis, all these comparisons, all this debate, who actually wins? Here's the truth. There isn't one winner. If you value simplicity, tradition, and cultural pride, the West Coast takes it. If you value gourmet quality, premium ingredients, and refined execution, the East Coast shines. If you want indulgent excess, Five Guys delivers. If you crave nostalgia, White Castle is untouchable. The real winner is diversity. America has built a burger for every mood, every budget, every craving. That's what makes this debate so heated. Because the answer depends on you. In the end, it doesn't matter which coast you're on, only the burger in your hands. But America, you've got some explaining to do about why we're this passionate about fast food. Hit that like button if you're ready to defend your burger choice in the comments, subscribe for more food battles, and remember, the best burger is the one you're actually eating.